Okay, welcome to the Non-Fun Gerbils podcast. This is a little bit of a different episode today. We are doing our first video episode. And as you can see, well, if you can't see, I'd recommend going and joining and watching one of the video streams. You can see that there'll be a link in the comments. But otherwise, you can see I'm here in Somnium Space, which is a persistent virtual world. And I'm here to interview Artur, who is the founder and CEO. This one George couldn't make it in because he didn't have access to a VR headset at the time. So you'll hear him on the audio. He's here with us, but he's not physically, virtually here in the world. But yeah, you'll be able to hear his questions. And then we go through with Artur all about Somnium Space. He tells us, what it is, what you can do here, how he founded it, and what's coming for the future. And we also talk about the implications of virtual social worlds and what the future holds for them. So yeah, great episode. We hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to the Non-Fun Gerbils podcast, the show about digitally scarce gerbils, non-fungible assets, and the growing decentralized economy.
We're all here. We can all
right.
hear each other.
Hello, Luke. Hello, George.
Hello.
Hey, Arthur. Great to meet you.
Thank you. Same here.
Thank you for having us in your world. to
My
talk
biggest
about
pleasure.
So yeah, we are live in Somnium Space. We are in this immersive VR world. I feel like I'm standing here. Artur is holding a virtual tablet so that
I can
that,
stream the view directly to the viewers.
it's just like doing a video call, which is what you called me the other week, and it blew my mind completely. So,
yeah, on
I had to
Zoom,
buy
right?
an
We were on
Oculus.
Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we could start with a little bit about. Let's start with what is Somnium Space. Where are we?
We are in a persistent virtual reality world, which means that this world has only one instance for everyone. And the way we design our server architecture means that everyone are in the same world. There's no shard, there's no sub-servers, rooms and stuff. So we are all here. And as you know, because you're in VR as well, we are in virtual reality. It means that we are inside the world. We feel like we're here. We're wearing VR headsets, and we have conversations, spatial audio, which completely simulates the real live audio. And whenever you turn your head around, the sound changes the direction, the velocity, the volume and stuff. That's all part of this, let's call it, highly immersive simulation. And of course, one of the most important parts of the world, or one of the pillars, is that the economy of the world is running on blockchain. And that means that users have full control over their belongings, be it a virtual land or avatars or items. That's what powers our world in terms of economy. And all of that kind of combines into one thing. So if I show the people, if I show the people the clouds, the clouds are in real time. Let's come here a little bit. So the clouds are generated in real time, and they are procedurally generated, so that they're never the same, right? There's like 6 layers of clouds, or like 4 to 6 layers of clouds, and if you can't see so much, like you can see that they're moving, but if you run a time lapse, if you record a time lapse, then you'll see them moving in different layers. For example, that's part of the simulation, right? Kind of like a matrix stuff. And here someone is coming. Hello, 7Cs.
More people joining us.
That's
Hey.
what happens when.
My first time here.
Oh, hello,
First
hello,
time.
welcome. You see, that's what happens in a persistent virtual reality world. People come in. We're having an interview, so hello, Seven Seas. Yeah, so this is no worries. So this is the part of the fun, right? This is the simulating the reality, and that's how it is.
It's really a very social world, isn't it? So I first saw you were opening an art gallery, and I tuned into a Twitch feed.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
I was, hang on, you guys are, you're walking around in virtual reality, and there's NFTs up on the wall.
Yes.
And I said, how have they developed this? Like, I looked at Somnium Space, I think, when you did your initial sale.
Hello. By the way, I'm sorry. Like it's part of this cool interview, Mickey. I'm making an interview with Luke. But here is Mickey, one of our community members as well. You can see, this VR. You can have a bird in it, so it's also possible. So that's
coolest avatar ever.
It's the first time our podcast has been gate crashed. I love it.
Yeah, so this is the part of the world, but without being funny, it's this what makes this world cool, because not only you can meet a lot of different people, which is amazing, but you can also explore their creations, right? You can go somewhere like there, and you can bump into some build which is done by some users, and you can explore that, whether it's an art gallery or a disco club or I don't know, just a villa to hang out. That's what it is, and what makes the world beautiful, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Artur, tell us a little bit about your background. What's your past, and how did you get here?
I think what's relevant for this is that I've been a virtual world gamer for more than 20 years. I mean, I'm not so old. I'm like 34, but for more than 20 years, sounds crazy, I was playing in virtual worlds. I started in 1999 when Ultima Online came out. I think I connected 2000, early 2000. And that was the first kind of massive virtual reality world, a virtual world which was persistent at that time. And it was massive. It didn't support voice chat, so we were not able to talk. We were just able to write and press enter, to chat with the text. So it kind of like was old school, was not 3D, was half 3D, 2D stuff, but it was amazing. And then Second Life came in, and I was very active in Second Life. And I was a DJ there, doing some discos in different cities. People were hiring me to do some discos, so it was a lot of fun. And I think throughout all of those 20 years, my biggest dream was always to, I wanted to be on the other side of the monitor so badly. Like this was, I remember in Second Life vividly sitting with my avatar, looking at my monitor and looking at the sunrise and the water, kind of at that time rudimentary stuff, but still. And I was looking at that and I was like, damn, I really want to be there. Like I would give a lot to actually be on the other side of it. And I remember like putting my eyes close to the monitor to try to immerse myself into this. Obviously, was nothing, but it sounds really funny, but it is exactly like this. And then when I in 2016 when I tried a pre-development version or pre-production version of HTC Vive headset with a full room scale, I kind of forced myself into the press demo they were giving. So I just used the power of charm and talked with some of the girl, and she let me in for 10 minutes demo. And that changed everything. That changed. I was already in that time involved in one 360 camera startup. I was an investor there, so I believed in VR. I believed in spatial, computing and stuff. But then actually that changed everything. And then I said, "Oh, holy moly! this will change the way how we consume everything within the next 5 years. Like I literally saw that in my mind, and I said, wow, now everything is possible. Like I can be inside those worlds finally. And then I started to look around and try to search, like, okay, what's available? You know, who's building this metaverse? Where is the Oasis? And then I didn't find anything, and I was like, wait a second. You know, there were some bits and pieces, but nobody was building, at least in my mind, like what could be, you know, looking as a cool metaverse. And I said, but like then I was not able to sleep. I was thinking about it and thinking, and I was telling my wife and stuff. And she was like, after like a month, she's like, man, you should do something about that because you're driving me nuts. I was like, yeah, maybe. So I've kind of created a presentation for myself to put my thoughts into it, and that's how it started. That's how I started Somnium. So I financed the whole first round of development myself from my own funds, and yeah, that was the beginning of Somnium.
So you literally you bootstrapped it yourself, and then
yeah,
did you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, how did it develop from there? So do you code yourself? Did you start?
Just tiny bit, but no, I'm not. My coding is not my mainstream. I'm good with computers, and I've studied a little bit of programming, but coding is not my stuff. So I understand things. So yeah, I just starting to search for people, developers, talking, trying certain developers. Making some mistakes, finding great people, not finding great people. Like the whole journey is like ups and downs. You're like on a roller coaster constantly. This is like having a startup. It's like one day you're the happiest person in the world, another day you're saying like, oh my goodness, this is over. Like this will never work or something like that. So that is literally like this, and yeah, so this is here we have another
Hey Zap.
hello, hi. Yeah, we can hear Zap where I'm giving an interview to Luke, so no worries. Yeah, so literally this is how it is, right? So this is the startup life, and you kind of go with it, you deal with it, and the most important part is to believe in your vision, I guess, and just I was so determined to make it happen. I never in my mind I said to myself it will not work. I just knew it will work. Like I knew it, and I continued.
Yeah. So how big's the team now?
We take sometimes more people, plus minus like 2-3 people, depending on the project and the complexity of the project, but we're around 12 people right now.
Okay, right. So, yeah, shall we have a look around and you can tell us about what you can actually do in Somnium?
I think the best place to start would be to climb this mall on the roof and just to see around, and then we'll decide where we go. So I'll just take you. Yeah, a little bit of exactly. Let's do some jumping. So let me jump here. There are some people. So Luke is here. Let's go here. And yeah, this is one of the best places to actually explore, because you can see around, like everything you see around in the distance, like all of this stuff around, all of those buildings, everything is built by our users, so on their blockchain parcels. And I think that's one of the most powerful things about that, and that's what I'm proud about as well, that people are able to build their vision on the land parcels we provided to them, and they bought themselves, and they just build on it. And it's amazing to see what people are building, right? And you've ran around here, and you've been on a few events of ours. You know how it is, and you know what people are building here. So it's very different, but it's very vibrant, right? It's hard to explain before you come here. even the 2D screen doesn't make it justice. You have to kind of immerse
It
yourself.
doesn't. It doesn't at all. I mean, apart from anything, it's like the textures on the walls. So when you go into some of the galleries and you look at the artwork, and you can go, you feel like you can stroke them. You know, you can see all the textures. It's very high resolution.
And again, it depends on how people are playing with it. Like there is a build, I think there. It's one of the Mocha's early builds, and they did, like, you know, I know Somnium a lot, right? And they did something amazing. They built curtains, and they applied a curtain texture on it, and literally it looks so real that from like standing in VR from like 1 meter away, you like really believe that those are real curtains. And I was like, wait a second,
Yes.
we don't have curtains in our asset store. Like, there's nothing. And how did what? And I was looking at it like, oh, this is a texture, but this is a very smart texture. So they used a lighting and texture combination to make it really look like it's a real curtain. I was like, wait a second, that's really nice. So those kind of use cases you get, and people start to use them. You know, you give people tools and they start building, for sure. This always applies like this.
Yeah.
Luke and I have spent quite a lot of time in, you know, crypto voxels and Decentraland, and when we started exploring Somnium Space, we almost couldn't quite believe what we were seeing in terms of the size and scope of what you've made. Tell us just a bit about how this has been funded. I mean, when we think of something like Decentraland and what they've built, I mean, there's some serious funding there. Have you done it through parcel sales, or how have you built something that's this big?
Yeah, the story is actually quite interesting because, as I said, the first part of the development I funded myself with my own funds, and then what we did is we went to community and we published the first version of Somnium, and you can still find videos of it on YouTube. And we said, and I said, hey everybody, that's Somnium version 1, but that's the vision, that's what we're building. What if you want, you know, what if you help fund us this idea? And we started with crowd invest campaigns. So we allowed people, random people, to invest into shares of our company, and they did. So and the funny part was that was a crowd invest campaign, and we said, okay, whoever buys the minimum amount of shares will also get automatically a parcel. Depending on how much shares you buy, you will get small, medium, or big parcel. All right. And what happened is that people started to buy shares because they wanted to have parcels rather than they wanted to have shares. They wanted to have shares as well, but for them, parcels were really important. And what happened there is that we are, you know, we're a UK Ltd company, and it was an UK or European crowd invest campaign. So United States guys, they were cut off legally from that. They were not able to participate.
Sure.
Now we started to get emails from people like saying, hey, what is, like, we want to invest as well. We cannot do something about this. And then we finished this crowd invest campaign. We actually raised $250,000 around about that, which is a substantial amount of money. And we were still getting those emails, and we said, okay, we need to do something about that, because people are really, you know, they want to participate. So we, right after that, we ran, like in 2 months, we ran Indiegogo campaign where we were selling land parcels, teleportation hubs, and stuff like that. And that campaign raised another $65,000. So both successful campaigns. We've got our core community. Some of the members are with us still. I mean, majority of them are actually with us still. And that's how it started. Then we got a smaller VC on board, and from that amount of money, we were able to continue and operate. But right now, all the development is funded directly by the land sales. So we are showing quite a strong growth as a company in terms of revenue and in terms of users and activity and stuff. So thankfully, you know, community is growing, and number of people who are coming into Somnium, and you've seen it your firsthand. I mean, the land price has also skyrocketed, and activity of users is going up. So yeah, we're very happy with how community is actually developing this with us, and we're actually really proud that we started as a community-based project. We reached out to the community and we say, this is the vision, do you like it or not? If you like it, support us. And they liked it and they supported us.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I suppose one of the things that stood out to me is that as a leader of the project, you're actually in here every day. You're doing live events, live meetups,
Yeah.
You're streaming out to Twitch. You're very active within the community.
But
and I think that says a lot about you're living what you're building.
Yes, I build it also for myself. I'm enjoying it, right? I'm not doing it because I'm pushing myself and saying like, oh, I have to do it, I have to entertain. No, I actually enjoy. Like, I'm the first dancer on the Saturday disco night, all right, and you know it, and I'm the last dancer on the Saturday disco night. That's for sure. So I'm really enjoying it, and I wanted to build a world where I would want to live. Like, that's true, and that's what I'm building, and that's why I'm here a lot, because I really love it, and I really enjoy the every minute of it. And again, how would you want to build a good world if you don't know, if you're not using it, right? I know all the all the bugs, I know all the things, I know what we need to make better, I understand what users want, I talk to users every day, right? That's how it is. I mean, we are having a daily meetup, right? Guys are hanging out on the plaza right now there, and I'm there every day. For the past 5 months, I missed maybe only 2 times just because of some emergency stuff, but the rest I was every day in the world, every day. So, and I plan to continue, because that's part of the experience, and I love it.
So what are the sort of foundational pillars of a good VR open world that what's important to you when you're building this?
Oh, there's a lot of things. I think some majority of things which we outlined in the beginning as a vision, which I said should be as a vision, is still true today. The first thing is economy. You have to have a running economy in the world, but the most important part of the world is it has to be VR. We're past the this is the future of people's communication. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like this, like, we're talking to each other right now. I know you are present here. You are not an avatar on the screen, and I'm not typing you the text. I'm actually talking to you, and I'm hearing you, and that's completely. And I'm doing this with my hands, and I see you doing this stuff. It's a completely different. Yeah, high five, exactly. Boom. So that's what you can do, right? And we are a virtual reality world first, and what that means is our software and all the experiences are built from ground up as a VR experience. And VR is a very different and, how to say, a very tricky technology, where you have to, if you don't build from the ground up as a VR experience, you would never succeed in a good VR experience. Like, it's no chance. Like, you will either have to at one point to rebuild everything from ground up for to be a good VR experience, or you will have a mediocre VR viewing thing. You will never be an experience. You'll be a kind of a viewing thing. So it's a very fundamental thing, and we work a lot and we work hard to make that, to optimize it, to make it really look good, to make it more immersive, to add new features, right? So being VR, it's one of the main pillars. Economy is important as well, and then persistence. It has to be persistent. Like, we have to be able to, like, you look at what guys are doing. Like, we have rolled out today an update where you can free fall from the buildings. And now if I zoom in, you can see them climbing, and then you'll see them falling down.
Oh, right, they're up there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what persistent means, right? Persistence means that you are that you are actually seeing everybody in the world. So you're seeing everybody in the world at the same time, and they're all live here together with us. No sharding, no dividing into sub mirrors and whatever. So here I am. Wait a second. I'll put the camera so I can see you. Yeah. So no dividing into submirrors, no dividing into shards. That's persistence. That's, he's on the top of the building, right? You can see it. He's there. And even if he would be on the top of the mountain, if he would have something like bright on him, or fire or bright avatar, you would see him there. You would see a dot there moving around, and you would know that there are
So
some
the
people.
draw distance is massive then.
Yeah, you are looking at the mountain is at least 3 kilometers from us.
Yeah.
2.5, and you still see everything crisp. And this is not an image. So if you, in majority of the games, if you come into something, that's what I, for example, hated about other VR experiences. Like you come to some cyberpunk, like not a city, but like a building or something in some other VR experience, for example, and you come there and it's an amazing building, it's an amazing scene. And then you see, like in the distance, you see those like moon and roads and everything. But then you quickly realize it's a picture, right? It's just a picture stretched out to look like. And that for me,
you can't go there.
You can go there, and it kills for me the immersion. It just kills it. And I always said, no, I don't want it to be like that. I want to be a draw distance like 3-4 kilometers, and I want it to be real. I wanted to go there and actually climb the mountain. And you climb maybe the mountain, so you know how it is. We can actually go there and climb it, but it will take us like half an hour to get there. So I don't think we'll go now. But
we bought a plot 2 days ago, and I think
congratulations.
I can see it from here actually.
Yeah, exactly. You can, right. You can see. I think it's there, right? You said to me it's somewhere.
Just over there.
Yeah. So
near the triangle one.
Exactly. So you can. That's persistent. And now, like, we're in this live stream, and then the sun is reflecting from the metal roof of the experience. Like this is this is something which is important. Like if I move the tablet and I move my arm, the shadows are in real time. You don't even realize the good experience is the experience where you don't realize that these things are happening until I point it out to you, but your brain does realize that. Your brain is completely immersed. Your brain believes that you're here. When you see your shadow on the wall, it will not like spark you, oh, there's a shadow on the wall. You'll take it normally. You'll take it as okay, but there's a lot of development in the background to make that happen. And also things like, video screens, they're emitting light and stuff. But okay, I'm getting too deep into it, but like those are the pillars: immersion, persistence, and VR. And for the persistence, we had to make our own server architecture. We were working more than a year to write our own server architecture to make that happen, actually. So if I would like unhide you what is happening in the background of this, like how many chunks of servers of not like of one big server, but it's divided into sub chunks where they communicate between each other, and there's a one global piece. So there's a lot of things happening. Like this is like a matrix. If I would uncover you the matrix, you would see the matrix. But
Right.
So there's a lot of things happening.
So that immersion, I feel it every time I go and I try to lean on an armrest or a banister in one of the worlds. I'm forever going up and looking at the view, and then going to lean on something, and oh no, it's not there. But your brain's completely.
Oh, today I was like, I mean, I'm in VR every day. I'm used to VR, right? And today I was in the studio recording another episode of amazing podcast. But I was recording this, and then there was a chair, and I wanted to sit down in the chair. So I kind of lined up my avatar, and I saw the chair, and I was sitting down in VR, but in real life as well. And I was like sitting down, and then I forgot that I didn't check that there is a chair in my real life, right? I didn't check it. But I was like feeling something there, and I was like, oh, cool. I sat down, and it turned out to be my laptop. I was like, oops. But it's okay. It's okay. It's alive. I just clicked on the touchpad. I was like, oh, wait a second. That's not a chair. Okay. So that was funny.
It sounds like building a VR world, you're always on a quest for more immersion. What comes next? What do you have to build or implement or what do you want to increase that sense of immersion?
Everything. So we are working on, and this year we'll have Catwalk Vr, so the treadmill where you will walk inside VR for real in real life. If you didn't support their Kickstarter, go there. It's Catwalk Vr C, I think. It's $900. It's a kind of a stand for your home. You go in and you walk, like you walk in real life. We'll support that, so you'll be able to walk inside your home, like in Ready Player One. It's like a very kind of like the same thing. Also this year, the vest for senses is coming. So basically, you'll feel like what 50 different vibration motors, and if someone touches you like this, you will feel it on your chest. If someone shoots you, you will feel it from different angles on the arms and even on the face. So that will add support for that. So that adds to an immense level of immersion. And then of course things like finger tracking, eye tracking, lip sync, those things are coming within a few weeks. So everything adds for immersion. And I don't think it's like a quest to get more immersion. It just comes naturally. We want to make this as believable as possible just because I want to have it as believable as possible. Like what do you see right now behind me? It's pretty believable already in VR. Like it literally looks pretty good, but there's always a way to improve it. And also we are improving the experience for builders, right? We add new features. People can build more. People can import better things. They can import browsers, 360 videos. That's always a quest for for making the world a better place, a more interesting place, of course, games and stuff.
Your
Yeah,
avatar,
so cool.
is that one of the Sony scanned ones?
Oh no, this is just a custom-made avatar, a fantasy one, where you can import into Somnium any avatar you want. You can change them every 20 minutes. I mean, soon every minute. And then you can import and be whatever you want. Like that's my avatar for my show. I like the avatar. This is the logo of the show I'm doing, and yeah, it's literally whatever you like. You're using custom Somnium avatar or a standard Somnium avatar, which I, by the way, like a lot. But it's you can go really deep into that, and very soon, we're already finalizing. Like we're in third of the whole thing. Will allow people to trade avatars as NFTs, like the whole avatar, full body avatars. You'll be able to buy and sell on OpenSea or directly between each other, and you will be able to embody yourself and be whoever you want to be.
So ownership is a key aspect of Somnium Space. Tell us a bit about what elements interact with the chain. So clearly, there's parcels of land. You just spoke about wearables. Obviously, one of the major aspects of CryptoVoxels is the ability to put art up on the walls and to prove that you own that art. Obviously, the more it meshes with the blockchain, the more sense of ownership one has. Tell us a bit about how Somnium Space interacts with the blockchain.
Yeah, look, so we have the same thing. So we have parcels, but I think there's a difference between, I'm not sure actually, but I think CryptoVoxels allows you to put art from the blockchain, even the one you don't own. In our case, you can only put on the wall the NFT, and it's very easy to do. You just click on the NFT, you click on the thing, it spawns into the builder, and you put it on the wall. Then you can see it in VR, and you can even check the price and information about it and open the browser. But again, you can only put the art which you own in your wallet. And in our opinion, we were thinking about how to make it right, and we think it's right because, for example, I don't know if you know Mocha museums. Many people do. Museum of Crypto Art. They built amazing buildings here, and now they own art for, like, there are some pieces for $7,000, and it's a very profound feeling when you come into this huge building in VR and you see a central art piece hanging there, and you know that that person who bought this land and built this thing, he owns this thing in his wallet. Like, you know it's his. It's a completely different viewing experience. Like, for me at least. Maybe I'm too focused on who is owning the art, but that's amazing. Like, that's I'm the same with my gallery. I own the art and I collect the art a little bit. Yeah, I know, I'm proud that I own this art and nobody else can view this art. It's mine. And I want to have it in my gallery. I don't want to have everywhere my art because whatever, but I want to have it in my gallery, and that's cool. That makes me feel good in terms of like how other people perceive it, and making some special galleries. It just makes it kind of like in real life.
Yeah, that's an interesting sort of element to add to it. Another interesting element that you have in this world, which is different to other ones, is that you have to walk to get around. So if I want to go over there, there's no shortcut. I have to walk there.
Yes. Soon you'll have to swim there.
What was the? Oh yes. You'll be able to swim.
Yes.
That's cool.
Kayaking, swimming, boats, and even hopefully the submarines are coming.
Will we have cars?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we did this special pre-sale with Crypto Motors, and we will be bringing those cars as full-fledged 3D models first, so you'll be able to place it as a 3D model on your parcel and even like open the door and have a look. Like, again, I've seen that car in VR when we were preparing the sale. We placed it in the city center on the. It looks amazing. So congrats to Crypto Motors, and also our guys worked on that car a little bit to make the lighting and stuff. It's like it's Ready Player One right out of the box right there. So we'll allow that, and then
cool.
and then eventually you'll be able to drive the car on the roads. Yes, of course.
Because I was walking the other day, I thought I could really do with a car or a motorbike right now. But when I first saw Crypto Motors, I never sort of really conceived that I'd be buying one in the future so that I could drive across the virtual world. That's
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I mean, I think nobody thought about that like this. But the whole point of, for me, I always look at NFTs, or I think at anything. I look at anything, and I immediately say, like, what is the use case? Like, when people ask me, like, what is the hottest NFT in your opinion, right? And I say always, like, what's the hottest use case? Like, what you can do with this thing? Like, with art, you can consume art. It's a very subjective thing. You like the art or you don't like that. If you like it, it's everything for you. If you don't like it, you don't care, right? But everything else is like, what is the use case? And if there is no use case, if there is no underlying use case which makes my life better, I kind of call it more a gimmick. But I cannot attach a real value, or I cannot attach myself to it. Maybe it's just me, but that's how I think about things. But if I see a real use case, if I can buy something and then use that something to create something else, or to have something else, or to be something else, that's a different story. And I think in terms of virtual worlds, a virtual land, I think there is an obvious use case. You can build amazing stuff in it. You can monetize things in it. You can create a business out of it. You can make a meeting. You can watch a movie with friends, whatever, right? But in terms of, like, for example, Crypto Motors, this special pre-sale we did, those cars will exist in VR. Those cars will be drivable in VR. Like, that's a huge use case. You can literally sit in your car and drive somewhere and show it to your friend. Like, to me, that's a use case, and that's why I love it. So I always look from that angle. I always look at the angle when something new is coming. I always look, okay, what's the use case? What's the end game? Why should I care? Why my life should become better? If there is a use case, like in terms of us and crypto voxels, for example, yeah, there is a use case. You can build stuff. You can build and show stuff. Everybody has a different take on it. But in principle, you can. In our case, it's even more magnified, let's say, by VR and all those immersion stuff. But in the end of the day, there is a use case in all of those worlds.
Well, I mean, this is why I own an Oculus now. I didn't really have. I'd always put VR in the background and thought, well, yeah, it'll be cool one day, but it's not there yet. I remember was it Atari Jaguar had a VR headset that came with it. And I was really looking forward to that, and then it made everyone sick because it had no spatial tracking or anything like that.
Yep.
And I thought, and since then I've kind of dismissed it as not ready yet.
Many people has this. Many people have the same concept. Like they think virtual reality. I always finish my presentations, live presentation, when I do any. The three pillars, and the third one is, I always say, you think, guys, that what I'm describing you, or just describe you in the presentation, is 10 years away. The reality is, it's already available today. You can live through all those things I just named today. Like, you are basically $1,500 away from having an amazing experience. In some cases, because people have already PCs, you are basically $400 away from having the amazing experience, most amazing experience in your life. That's how close it is.
Yeah. So what about gaming mechanics? Will developers be able to build in specific games and mechanics
Yeah, of course.
into the world.
Of course. So we have a roadmap plan, and we had a kind of a master plan, like let's talk Elon Musk style, right? We have a master plan, and the master plan says we start with things where people can, like, when everybody can build, and our builder, I guess. It's very easy to use, it's intuitive, it's visual, you don't need to know any line of code, and you can build quite amazing stuff with it. And if we look around, that's the proof of it, right? All those galleries and moving parts and stuff, you can really build some sophisticated things with it. Now, that was the step one. The step two is introduce custom avatars so that you can use Unity and SDK, which we've developed, to actually upload things into the world like this and be yourself. That's step number two, because we knew people want to be themselves. Now, step number three is allowing Unity SDK to also allow to upload complete scripted environments on your land parcel. And that's in the development. It's coming. And once that will hit, then the sky is the limit. And then basically you can do whatever you want.
That's a really exciting thought, because then you can have, sort of Grand Theft Auto type in-game games within.
Oh yeah,
Somnium,
of course, yeah. Then you can have games, you can have everything you want.
What's how far away is that from being realized?
This year.
This year.
Yes.
Okay.
I hope within 3 months, but we thought we'll have Oculus Quest standalone earlier. Then we thought that we have to, we saw that we have to finish few things, fundamental things, before we, continue working on Oculus Quest. That's why we delayed Quest client a bit. But in the end of the day, there is a roadmap, and we hit basically every milestone we set to ourselves in the past. We hit those milestones. And when we are continuing to do that, and in meanwhile, we are also adding a lot of things to that. So the complexity of the world is growing. So yeah, this year will be exciting. This year will be a killer year in terms of the features and abilities to do stuff. And we have some secret plans in our sleeves, half sleeves, whatever here, which we don't tell, but we want to surprise people in terms of, like, if you look at this and you think this is amazing, and which I hope it is, and I love it, you didn't see anything yet. Like, we are thinking way beyond this in a tremendous way.
Wow.
Yeah, super exciting.
Is there any plan for Web XR, any kind of like web-based way of entering the world?
Yes.
To bring the friction.
And we even tested it already. I mean, we can run this in Web VR, and we can even run this on Android phone. Like, there's a video on the internet where I'm building in the builder on my Galaxy Note 8 was at that time, or 9, I don't remember. But you can. Right. The only thing is, we don't want to rush things. We want to make sure that if we release things, that they work as they intend to work, and that they're also released in the right time. So yes, web support is coming, but not the web support you think about. An unconventional way of web support, which would be cool. The Android app is coming, the iOS app is coming, and Quest standalone is coming. The only question is when, how, and why. And we know the answers to those questions. Sometimes, development is also a crazy beep, but, it's hard stuff. So we have to sometimes postpone things, and we have to, battle with things. But in the end of the day, in the grand scale of things, we are on time with almost every feature we wanted to have. And we are even beyond that, actually.
Scarcity is a key aspect to an economy, potentially. And talk to us about the parcels themselves. Have you sold them all? Have they all been sort of designated, or will more be created? How do you see the way that the parcels will continue to roll out?
Right. I don't think, by the way, that scarcity is the main part of the economy. I think the main part is use case. But we have 5,000 parcels in this world. Right now, around about 2,000 something is sold out. Of course, the closest to city center, and you can have a look on the map. Now, we will sell out this world. and then we'll add different worlds. And I don't want to talk much about that. Like I'm an investment banker by my studies. I've worked as a trader for 10 years, so I kind of understand the economy things. And we will always add things in a way that not only that it will be interesting and which has never been seen before. I don't want to spoil too much, but we will make sure that we will not obviously affect the prices of current owners. But again, this world as it is right now, as you see around, this will not change. This will stay as it is, and this will be always the first world. This will be the world where it all began. So like I'm also owning some parcels here. I own like what 20 parcels, 25. I have no doubt that I'm kind of good, right? I have no question about that. It's just you can do things in different ways. You can just make the world bigger, but in case of VR, it's not that um, easy because for us there are some technological boundaries. As I said, we have a persistent world. You have a massive draw distances. You have those things, and we just cannot just flip the switch and say, okay, we scale it for another 20 kilometers. It's difficult. It's difficult from performance reasons. It's difficult from the server side reasons. It's difficult from many reasons, and also server side and everything. So we have to innovate, and I think we're right on the timing. So by the time we will sell out this world, we'll be ready with some more advanced tech to be able to add some more experiences into that. So I would not be like, I don't think the scarcity is the most important part. It's an important pillar, but the most important pillar is use case. If you have something to do on your parcel, if you can monetize your parcel, then you're good to go. It doesn't matter where it is, basically.
Yeah, that's super interesting. It's also a big world out there, right? There's a lot of people to bring into the VR world.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we support non-VR mode, but that doesn't make it justice. I mean, like in 2D, when you go walk around, it's nice, but you are detached from the happening. Like when you are in VR, you are actually here.
Do you have any plans to sort of heat map people's movements throughout the world in a kind of collecting metadata on how they act to things, what things they're interacting with, that kind of thing?
So we don't collect data on users at all. Like you would be surprised how little we know about in general what like we have some Steam data which Steam provides us in terms of country, of origin. We have some IP addresses in general, but that's kind of it. Like what do you do in the world is up to you, and we want to keep it that way. And our business model is not collecting your data and selling it to advertisers. Our business is different. Our business is providing you experience and make you actually make transactions in the world so that we get a cut of that transaction. That's a different business model from like trying to sell your data and giving you everything for free. That's why things cost here some money, because we need to run the service, we need to do that, and that part costs money. I mean, I would be more suspicious if you would say you get everything for free and you get it forever, like Facebook or something, or Google. Like you get all those tools for free, and someone has to pay for it, right? And when you start thinking how they are paying for this, you start to creep out. You're like, oh my god, no, all the data are owned. So we have a different business model, and we're going completely different direction. And honestly, I don't care what you do inside the world. What I care is that you have a good experience. Now, when it comes to the ability for landowners to track things in terms of how many people visited my parcel, did they interact with my things and stuff, this functionality is coming to landowners, but again, it will be anonymous. So you will see, okay, 5,000 people visited my parcel, and then based on how you built your experience, you will see, okay, that many people interacted with my experience because it's a web browser based and they clicked on something here, or you can be creative. So that's the future. But again, our business is not collecting your data. We don't need that, and I don't want that. That's why I love blockchain as well, because your parcels are in your wallet. Like I have no, I sleep well because I know that your security is in your hands. Yeah, there's no possibility that someone will steal parcels from from whom. Like you cannot you can hack our server, try to, but like you can't change anything, because whenever you try to upload something to the parcel, we do the blockchain check. If you own the token, you can upload. If you don't, you can bang your head into the monitor, but it won't help you. It's just the way it is. So that's pretty good, and that's another benefit of the blockchain and why we like it: security.
Yeah. Yes, it's tapping into that security and certainty that Ethereum provides, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other thing,
it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, it's in infancy, and it will change and will evolve. But already today, it provides the basic layer, which is already, again, has a use case. Why I believe in Ethereum, and I'm not a maximalist. I honestly, I'm not a maximalist, but I believe in Ethereum because I see a use case. Whenever I see a use case that's good enough for me, I can understand it. You know, I can understand why things are valuable because they have a use case, and Ethereum clearly does have has a use case. You know, it's an amazing platform, and that's why we use it.
Yeah. And thinking about the privacy route, I noticed that, you know, even from here we can kind of hear voices from over there. Obviously, they're quite distant, but if
you can't hear what they're saying.
No.
But you hear that talking, which is amazing, by the way. You can hear it like in real life.
Like I was in World the other day, and I just popped in to call someone from in World, like you did with me, so that I could show this cool feature. And then I heard talking, and I followed the talking, and then I found you, and you were having a meetup, and it was just by chance that I was there.
Oh, right.
But it made me think about, like, if you'd have. It would be quite a cool place to have meetings, you know, in a kind of sort of team meeting, because you actually feel more in person with someone. But is there a way of having sort of, you know, locked rooms? Can you put soundproof walls up on your parcel? And
right now not, but all this set of privacy tools for your parcel and for yourself in the world, like muting yourself, muting others, being kind of invisible for others. This all set of tools is in development and it's coming, of course. You have to have full control over your well-being inside the environment. Like, there's no question about that. And your parcel is your parcel, so you'll be able to lock it down to only people who own certain NFTs, or to your friends who you added as friends here, or to everybody, whatever you decide. And you'll be able to shut down the audio stream so that you know, outside the parcel nobody will hear anything what's happening in the parcel, things like that. So this is all coming as well.
Privacy and encryption can often be a sort of double-edged sword. When you create a social space and human beings come to it and flock to it and build their own worlds, obviously with that comes some nefarious actors or people who want to build things that are potentially unsavory. Is there a sort of centralized point of control in order to mediate people's behavior to some degree?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's true for every world on the blockchain out there, or any game out there. Like,
sure.
We can, we have terms and conditions. If you build something against terms and conditions, like, I don't know, child pornography or violent stuff, you know, some ugly things, and we had some actors like that here. So when you do that, we will shut you down. We'll shut you, and the way how we shut you down means we will delete the content, we'll ban you from the server. You'll not be able to log in back, but your tokens are your tokens. Like, we had an example. The person went nuts, and he started to build like crazy things, and we warned once, twice, then we just took it down. But the person just went and sold his parcels for like, what, $5,000? Like, he made profit. He made a lot of profit, and that's a very good example. I love it. I love the way how it is, because
amazing.
In any other game you are banned and you lose everything. And I wasn't this. You never see your money back. So those are dead money. Here you have
you can rage quit. You can rage quit and take your value with you.
Yes, you can do that. Cool. I don't encourage you doing that, because I'm watching you. But in the end of the day, you can do that, of course. And you know, that's a beauty and that's a promise of the decentralized economy. I mean, partially decentralized economy. In the end of the day, we will come to a point where we have the servers running in a semi-decentralized way, and it's robust, so that if something happens to a central point of control, that still everything will be running for it. That's the goal. But to be realistic, we have to get to that goal. And to
No,
get to that
sure.
goal, you cannot start with this decentralized, like people like to say in crypto community, like, oh, let's do open source and decentralize everything. It's nice talk, but it's little action. You cannot do that right
Yeah.
now. And even if you can do some parts of it right now, it will be pretty creepy experience. So
Yeah,
nobody
totally.
will want to use it. So
I've heard it explained a little bit like you want to get up into orbit, but to get there you have to have a team of people that can build a rocket
course,
together
yes,
and take you into orbit. So
100%. Yeah.
We've still got a long way to go, but
Yeah.
In terms of like other platforms, because there's obviously some huge platforms out there that offer these kinds of experiences, and they don't have this ownership element that Somnium has. I guess, do you feel like you're building a big enough moat? Like, are these special pillars that you guys have a big enough moat to bring people to this platform, considering there's so much else out there to be spending time on?
I don't think there's so much other. I mean, I know every company and I know every majority of people who are running those companies. So I don't think there's so much. I mean, we can count with the fingers of my single hand. You can count all of the experiences which are existing right there, today in the social VR, and we're one of those. And
I guess I was throwing the net slightly wider in terms of situations that don't necessarily involve VR, but I guess what I mean is they take people's time, and the hope is
that's great. That's why we believe that VR will take majority of people's time.
Yeah.
In the mid to near future. That's good. If they don't do it in VR, and if they take people's time without providing them a sense of ownership and no real economy, long term, I don't believe they will survive. Like I just don't, and that's why I admire what Fortnite did in terms of the numbers of people they're able to take on the platform. But that's it. That's where it ends. I don't admire the game. I don't admire the experience. I don't admire how it's done. I don't admire how they divide people into rooms of like 100 people or 30 people, whatever the part is. The rest is just for me, kind of like we've been there already. There's nothing new in terms of like how things are working there. But yeah, if they're taking their attention today, it doesn't mean that they will be taking their attention tomorrow. And
sure,
we slowly grow. We don't, need to be a rocket ship right now. We have a very substantial growth, both financial and user base and activity in the world. But we're fine with that. We're also refining our platform. We're making sure that the tech is ready for the next 10, 20 years.
Considering the amount of ether we had to part with a couple of nights ago, things definitely look like
right. See, and people, I'm amazed sometimes. People come to our Discord like, Artur, this platform is crap because everything is expensive. And I was like, man, you know that I'm not dictating the prices. Do you understand that? It's not me putting the prices. It's people, blame them. Don't blame me. Come on. So that's how it is, right? It's a decentralized market. You can, if you would be doing a bad job, people would just, not pay anything for that. It's pretty simple.
We did want a massive parcel as well, so that kind of didn't help. So
yeah.
It's how it is. I'm happy that I bought on Indiegogo. Do you know how much big parcel costed on Indiegogo? I can tell you the price. I mean, it will not be a pleasant news for you. It costed $250. Even the waterfront. So yeah, I bought some. I'm stupid that I didn't buy more. By the way, we have a rule in the company for everyone who works in the company. We never got anything for free. Everybody had to buy with everybody. So I was buying on Indiegogo on my credit card parcels, and I was discussing with my wife why we need 2 teleporters instead of 1 teleporter. And I actually wanted 4, but we got only 2. And now those teleporters, we know the prices. Like last night, one was sold for $7,000. Like, for God's sake, I wanted 4.
For
so I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
no pre-mine.
Not yet. They don't even yet function, and they already cost that much money because people know what's coming, and they know we will be delivering that functionality and why it's so important and why it's so different from anything else you've seen so far. It's a different concept.
Will a teleporter take you anywhere? So you can, because I see there's one over there by that building,
That's a central teleportation hub for people to hop in for other teleports. So the transportation system in Somnium works the following way. As you said, you have to walk things. There is a certain speed and distance you can walk. There's a maximum speed and distance. That's made on purpose, and that's made for higher immersion. Now, the distance plays role, and obviously you want to also have an ability to teleport to your parcel instantly. So that's why teleportation hub comes into the place. If you own a teleportation hub, you can place it on one of your parcels, on any parcel you want. And once it's placed, it feeds into the global system of coordinates from the teleportation hubs. So if you allow people to come to your parcel, suddenly when you place the teleporter, everybody will see when they come into the booth, in the teleportation booth, and they click on the monitor, they'll suddenly see, okay, that's Luke's parcel. I can go there, and they can click on that, and it will be taken right away there, like within a second. Now you will be able to go there within a second, but it depends where the teleportation hub will be. If there is no teleportation hub, you will not be able to teleport there. You have to teleport somewhere close and then walk, and that creates
a sort of
that creates a dynamic of how people plan to place teleporters and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's even more to it. I mean, we can spend like 1 hour talking about teleportation, but like there's even more, because every teleportation hub, you will be paying as a user, will be charging people for either single teleportation instance or for monthly teleportation fee. For example, like, you buy for your transportation in the city. Now, it will be some amount of money. We didn't announce yet how much exactly, but it will be something you'll be able to afford, but it's something you kind of feel a little bit. And the thing is, every owner of teleportation hub, because we will be collecting those money from people, we'll be redistributing them back to the teleportation hub owner. So every time someone teleports to your location, you get paid from us, because you got paid from the beginning. So now that creates, you can actually place a teleportation hub into some very important place and make a living just out of that, because people will be going there like it's a disco club there, right? People will want to get there. You know that every freaking Saturday people are going to this disco. Okay, you make sure that on Friday evening you place the teleportation hub there, and people will just pour in by hundreds and thousands, and you will have your living just from having teleporter for one night a week right there. So yeah.
And it would be cubes, would it, that I'd be using to
Correct.
Okay. So that's the kind of the in-world currency.
Yes.
And you mediate transactions through that.
Correct.
And that's an ERC 720, is
ERC20.
An ERC20.
ERC20, exactly.
ERC20. Okay, cool. Brilliant. So we're going to have to start stocking up on that as well, Luke.
Did you have a sort of a big sale of cubes?
We've sold them. Look, we never aspired to have ICOs. We never aspired to overpromise things. We always were going with the achievements we're able to deliver, and with the promise of something which people can actually do something with stuff. So we deliberately in 2017 people were telling us do an ICO, and we saw so many ICOs which overpromised and just go bust, and the sentiment was so negative. We just said no, we won't. And at that time the blockchain tech was not, like, the smart contracts thing was not mature enough, and we were just waiting. We were building on the infrastructure for virtual reality, but we were not touching the blockchain part, because we knew that once we want to do it, we will be able to do it fairly quickly. But we want to wait. So ICO was never our thing. And again, I'm the use case believer. Like right now, cubes have certain use cases. You can buy some land parcels. You can buy some nice art for cubes. Some artists, crypto artists, they take cubes as well. But there is nothing substantial. Like the first part would be avatars. The second part would be transportation. The third part would be ticketing system, renting, and all this kind of stuff in world. Now that's when cubes will become interesting. We do allow people to buy cubes at the discounted price right now on the exchange and OpenSea, and some people did, But I think when the use case is coming, people will have to. If they will want to live here in this world, they will have to, and that's why it will fuel. So I have no doubt about kind of a good future. I don't know if it's the greatest future in the world, but kind of a good and stable future of cubes, because we will introduce a lot of use cases.
Good to hear.
And why did you go for something like that over using something like Ether?
Oh, I mean, if to work in the world, you'll be able to use Ether, but for certain things,
Okay.
you will need to use cubes. And the way why we did it like that is because we have an ultimate control, technologically, let's say, over the cubes contract and everything, so we can implement it better and more smoothly into the Somnium experience, into the clients, rather than just implementing the being dealing with Ether. So that's one of the reasons why for certain use cases cubes will be the dominant use case. But as many use cases as we will try, or as much as possible, allow people to trade with different cryptocurrencies. I mean, we're a VR platform. We can even allow different blockchains to coexist here with Ethereum. I'm never ruling this out. This is, in the end of the day, if users see reason to go, I don't know, if they want to pay with Bitcoin Cash in VR, uh, why not? Let them do it. If they want to go with Bitcoin, or if they want to go with something else, fine. It's where the user is. The platform will be there with them. Why would we limit it? We're not maximalists here. We're use case people. So if there is a use case, we'll try to provide this case.
Yeah, absolutely. So bringing it back to or sort of rounding it up, what sort of what are the things that you are most looking forward to in terms of experience in the future, and what experiences do you most enjoy at the moment?
I would say 100% the disco clubs, like the dancing disco nights and the building of those disco clubs and art galleries. Like 360 art is freaking amazing. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen the videos of us guys go into those bubbles. I think you've been in some of the 360 bubbles here.
Yeah.
It's just, it's hard to explain on the 2D screen why it's so tremendously important, but it's just an amazing thing. You enter a different dimension and you're inside the art. And we have some amazing artists who are placing the 360 bubbles here, and their galleries are mind-blowing. I cannot, like, just mind-blowing. And I'm not over exaggerating something, nothing. It's just very intense experience. So this, I think, and in terms of, like, we are adding features quite quickly. We're working hard. There are several teams. We're making a lot of progress. Like today, we added the feature of being able to spawn a web browser in your parcel. That opens up a huge Pandora box of use cases. You can do a Google Docs. You can log into Netflix. You can do a lot of things right from the VR. You can even freaking Skype people from the VR. So now, what else we can do? There's many things we can do, but are there a lot of things which people can do today? Yes. Did they push this to the limit already? Not yet. So we're also seeing and waiting how people will use existing tools, and then providing them, and then thinking and collecting the feedback and building other tools. And meanwhile, we're also working on some fundamental parts like, standalone Quest clients and Android apps and stuff. But that's kind of in the background. We don't advertise it much, but then when the time comes, we will showcase things, and as we usually do, and we'll introduce them to the public. But I mean, today, like, you bought the parcel, good luck exploring what you can build with it. Like, that's a lot. So you'll be busy for some days for sure. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah,
sure will.
I've got a friend who's really looking forward to performance art in world, or wondering whether that's actually going to sort of take off. Especially when you've got full body tracking.
Oh, of course. I mean, by the way, that's also coming. By full body tracking, not only arms and head, but also you can put trackers, HTC trackers on your legs, and then you can do like legs up and dance and break dance and stuff. In terms of performance art, we have singing concerts from time to time. We're also working on some stand-up comedy nights, specials here.
Oh, nice.
But also today, I think yesterday evening, one of the artists here, 360 artists, he was going into Tilt Brush, and he was inside Tilt Brush painting and live streaming that video into Somnium Space so that people on his parcel can watch the live stream while he's in other VR experience creating an art. Now that's, I call it cool mind beep. You know, that's something.
is.
If you think about it, that's something like you're looking at the person who is standing somewhere else, and you're watching the live stream of him creating this 360 art, which he will later on tokenize and sell it to you in the world where you are. I'd say
Oh,
we are
man.
far enough at this moment to actually allow people to explore the possibilities.
A
So
VR blockchain NFT inception.
yes, exactly.
Oh,
It's
man.
like I did this experiment when we introduced the 360 bubbles, right? Because we also allow people not only to put 360 photos, we also allow people to put 360 videos, or even more of that, we allow people to put 360 videos from YouTube. But we didn't even stop there. We said, why don't we allow people to stream live 360 video? And we did it. And then what I did is I just had a 360 camera in my home Gear 360 from Samsung. So I placed one in the kitchen, I placed my phone next to it, and through the 4G network, I was streaming 360 to YouTube. And then I placed this bubble on one of my land parcels. And what I did is I was in the kitchen physically, but I went into VR and I went into that bubble. So I was inside Somnium in VR headset, seeing myself walking in the kitchen. I was like, wait a second, that's okay. Let's think about it. I'm in VR world, inside 360 bubble, streaming live stream video of 360 of being me in the kitchen in VR headset. Nice. So that's
you're being the fly on your own wall there, aren't you?
exactly. Yeah, that's like I was actually, the camera was standing next to the salt and tea. You can find this video. It's on YouTube, on Twitter, I think. It's like there's like I placed this next to the tea stuff and salt, and I was like, oh, that's my salt. It's a sea salt. Nice. Woo! I'm next to the sea salt. You know, it's funny. It's literally next level thing. So yeah, I just hope people will explore more and more and push the potential of some, and they already do. Like every time I go to some galleries, I'm like, oh, this is possible here. Nice. So when I do this, that means that they succeeded, because I know Somnium quite well, but they do some surprises every now and then. So that's amazing.
Well, it does certainly seem like it's an incredibly creative canvas for people to experiment with and to build things and to entertain people, and it's hugely exciting what you've built. Thank you so much for explaining so much of it to us. I'm going to have to go away and save up for all kinds of 360 cameras and Oculus things, and it's all going to get very expensive. But I think in the end, a lot of fun. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, guys. I watch your show, so it's really fun to be with you here, and I'm glad that you are actually in the world with me, because it's very hard to speak to people when they don't understand about like what I'm explaining, because they think like I'm overshooting and over exaggerating things, and like, why he's so exciting? Is he drunk or what? You know, like they're like, what is going on? But like when you're here, I hope you understand, and I know you understand, because party at Saturdays very hard. So
I've just sat here and watched you two chat on a roof for an hour. Yeah. I mean, like it's really extraordinary that this feels totally fine.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's kind of like mind blowing.
We need to get you in here, George.
Exactly. Why are you there? Come here.
Next one, I'll come. I mean, we've literally watched the sunrise as we've chatted.
Oh yeah.
I know it's come up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I've got my monitor here as well. I'll pan to it. You can see the shadows have changed. Everything's changed.
Yeah. It's extraordinary.
And look! I'm walking right now into the shadow of the building, like this, and the shadow is. Yeah, it's just again, it feels natural, and your mind doesn't recognize it at first, and that's good. That means that we are succeeding.
Okay. Well,
this is the other thing in the nightclubs is that you get the coloured lights coming from one direction. You get multiple shadows on the floor. And, and the lighting effects.
I'm looking forward for the Saturday, because we're partying in two clubs at the same time. We're starting in the club there, and we're continuing in the 360 club. That will be fun. This Saturday will be fun.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure.
The first weekend I came out, we went to about 3 different clubs in the end, and then we went on a mission to your studio. Right. Via
this time it will be more specialized on the clubs. So this time we'll have some special experiences on both clubs, and both will be amazing. I had some. I saw some stuff, but yeah. Again, thanks for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure to chat. And the guys are already looking at us. like they're turning their heads back and they're like, what is they doing there? Why they're not coming to the meetup? What this? What? So we'll go back to those guys and we'll chat with them for a bit.
Awesome.
And then,
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll let you guys
Thank you.
get on. Thank you so much, mate.
Yeah,
that was
great.
great. Oh, look at it. It's a VR handshake. VR handshake. That's awesome.
All right. See
Thanks,
you.
Arthur.
Thank you. See you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.